Formula for combinations. The number of possible combinations of R items taken from N items is C, or the combination of the N selecting R. Recall combination, the order makes no difference. The formula is very similar to the permutation, but the difference is the denominator is the product of N minus R factorial and R factorial. Let's see the examples. We're going to use the formula. I'm going to write out the formula of the combination of the N selecting R as N factorial divided by N minus R factorial times R factorial to evaluate each expression. Part A, combination of the 10 selecting 4. Using the formula, going to be 10 factorial divided by 10 minus 4 factorial times 4 factorial because the R is 4. And then simplify this to be 10 factorial divided by, which is 6 factorial times 4 factorial. I'm going to put parentheses down here. And then we can use the calculator to compute it. The first one, which is, I'm going to clear the previous calculation. The first example, the numerator is 10 factorial. So 10 math PRB notation factorial and divided by the product of 6 factorial, option 4, multiplied by 4 factorial, and close it, and then enter. That's 210. Or we use the formula that involving the combination of the C of the N selecting R by typing the N first. In our case is 10, and then go to the math, go to the PRB, and you can see the third option as nCr, which is the combination of the N items selecting R. And after that, you type the R value, which is 4, and hit enter, and you will get the same number as 210. And then part B is, if we do the formula, gonna be 3 factorial for the N divided by 3 minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial. Or we get 3 factorial divided by 0 times 3 factorial. Okay, and put in the calculator. With the same way, I'm gonna recall the previous formula. The numerator is the numerator is 3 factorial and denominator is 0 factorial multiplied by 3 factorial. And then hit enter, you're going to get 1. Or use the direct formula for the combination of the N selecting R by typing N and go to the PRB, which is go to math, PRB, option 3, and the number R, which is the value 3, to get the number 1 as well. The value is 1. And then part C, follow the formula. N is 6, can be 6 factorial divided by the quantity 6 minus R, or the 0 factorial, times the 0 factorial. Or it's the same as 6 factorial divided by 6 factorial times 0 factorial. In the calculator, just recall the previous one again. So second, enter, and then the numerator is 6. Denominator is 0 factorial and 6 factorial. Just write in order, 6, and then this one is 0. And you should get the number 1 as well. Use the direct formula. Since n is 6, and then hit the math. Go to the PRB, option 3. The R is 0. Hit enter. The answer is the same as the value 1. Now the next one, part D. The numerator is combination of the 9 selecting 5, or 9 factorial divided by 9 minus 5 factorial times 5 factorial. Put parentheses around. And then the denominator, which is the n is 3, so 3 factorial divided by 3 minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial. It's very complicated. So let's just go ahead and use the formula directly on the calculator. I'm going to clear the screen, and then since we have the quotient, I'm going to put parentheses around, starting with the end of the first one, which is the value 9, and the combination formula. We go to math PRB and option 3. The R is 5 for the top one, and close it. This is a numerator divided by open parentheses again for the denominator, which is combination of the 3 selecting 2. So n is 3. Hit the math PRB option 3, and the R for the denominator is 2. Close the parentheses and hit enter. You will get the answer as 42. And the last one, it looks more complicated, but it can be done. So just make sure you do it in the right order. So we're gonna have 3 pieces. So as I put the first one, this is the one with the 4 factorial divided by 4 minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial. Just multiply one of them, and the other one would be 3 factorial over 3 minus 1 times 1 factorial. Close it. And all divided by quantity, 9 factorial, 9 minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial. Too complicated. We just use the calculator to work on this for us. Make sure we type everything in the right order. All right, let's clear up the previous one and then type it one at a time. See the numerator as a product. So gonna be the quantity, n is 4, the mass PRB, option 3, the R of the first part is 2, close it, and then multiply by another group, which has the n as a 3, and then mass PRB, option 3, the R for the second part is 1, close it, numerator part is done. So divided by the denominator, which is the combination of the n, which is 9, go to mass PRB, option 3, and then the R of the denominator is 3. Close it, hit enter. We have the fraction. So let's see what would be the value in, we have the decimal. We're gonna see in the fraction form. So we go to math and then option 1 for the fraction of the previous answer. So we get 3 over 14 as another option. Or 3 over 14 as a value of this.